In 1892, a young man named Richard Sears bought a shipment of refused watches and sold them to railroad agents. It was the start of Sears, Roebuck & Co., a company that would become the largest retailer in America for nearly a century. But by the 2002s, Sears was in trouble. A new kind of predator was circling. Not a retailer, but a Wall Street financial engineer with a radical theory of how to run a company. Meet Eddie Lampert. In 1988, he left Goldman Sachs with $28 million in seed money to start his own hedge fund. By 2004, he'd become the first Wall Street manager to earn over $1 billion in a single year. Lampert's strategy was simple: buy undervalued companies/costs, extract value. In 2002, he bought the bankrupt Kmart. 3 years later, he merged it with Sears to form Sears Holdings. The merger created a retail giant with nearly 2,700 stores and $55 billion in sales. But Lampert wasn't interested in running a retailer. He had a different playbook. Inspired by Ayn Rand's philosophy of rational self-interest, Lampert restructured Sears into 30 separate business units. Each unit was forced to compete with the others for resources. On paper, it sounded innovative. In practice, it was catastrophic. Instead of collaboration, units started sabotaging each other. The apparel division wouldn't talk to the appliances division. Employees described this system as a meat grinder. The focus shifted from serving customers to internal competition. And while executives fought each other, the stores themselves began to crumble. This is the critical mistake. Lampert treated Sears like a financial asset, not a living business. He stopped investing in stores, in employees, in the customer experience. While Walmart and Target were spending billions on store upgrades and technology, Sears was literally letting its roofs leak. The deteriorating stores drove customers away in droves. Between 2011 and 2018, Sears lost more than half its stores. The company that once defined American retail was hemorrhaging locations at a rate of nearly 1 store every 2 days. Meanwhile, Lampert was extracting value for himself. In 2013, he became CEO, giving himself total control. The company's stock price, once over $170, fell below $1. Here's the second-order effect no one talks about. By underinvesting in stores, Lampert created a death spiral. Fewer customers meant less revenue, which justified further cuts, which drove away even more customers. On October 15, 2018, Sears filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The company that had pioneered the American shopping mall was now a case study in corporate self-destruction. But the story doesn't end there. 2 months later, Lampert offered to buy the remains of Sears for $4.6 billion. The catch? $950 million in new debt, with no additional cash. Creditors were furious. In January 2019, they accused Lampert of running a multi-year scheme to strip Sears of its assets while enriching himself and his hedge fund. And then came perhaps the most damning move. In May 2019, Lampert threatened to withhold $43 million in pension payments owed to 90,000 former employees and retirees. Think about that irony. The man who extracted billions from Sears was threatening to take away the retirement security of the people who built the company. The playbook here is clear. Don't confuse financial engineering with business strategy. Lampert's approach worked brilliantly at a hedge fund. Applied to a retailer, it was poison. Retail requires constant investment. You have to upgrade stores, train employees, and adapt to changing consumer habits. You can't cut your way to growth. Compare this to Walmart's strategy. While Sears was closing stores, Walmart was spending billions on e-commerce, supply chain automation, and employee wages. The lesson isn't just about retail. It's about any business where you extract value instead of creating it. Private equity firms should take notes. Asset stripping has a time limit. In December 2024, a trustee filed a $177 million lawsuit against Lampert and his companies, alleging they stripped Sears' hometown stores of assets. Today, only 5 Sears stores remain in the United States, from 2,705 stores to 5. That's a 99.8% collapse. The Sears story is a masterclass in what happens when you prioritize shareholder value over stakeholder value. When you optimize for Wall Street instead of Main Street. In the Lampert's net worth dropped from $3.8 billion in 2006 to $2.2 billion by 2016. He extracted value, but he also destroyed most of it. A cautionary tale for any operator who thinks they can outsmart the fundamentals. If you found this breakdown valuable, subscribe. We analyze the strategies behind business triumphs and catastrophes, so you can learn what to do and, more importantly, what never to do.